What's up guys, my name is Ace, and it looks like tomorrow we're going to be getting a pretty big Quartermaster update with some interesting things that have been kind of leaked and talked about and also kind of hinted at by Infinity Ward. So today I thought it would be a great time to do my common versus rare drops. I get asked this question constantly. Which ones do I open and which ones do I recommend? Which ones are better for salvage? So today I'm finally going to be sharing the little bit of analysis that I did on here that helps me make this decision for myself. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so kicking this off, before I get into the numbers of the drops that I analyzed and everything like that, part of this comes down to your mindset and what you're looking for out of the drops. With common drops, obviously you're going to get a lot more items because you open 3 common drops for every 1 rare drop. Having said this, with common drops, you're more likely to get common items, as well as maybe a few rare items. Your chances of getting legendaries and epics is much lower than with the rare drops. In addition to this, common drops don't give you guaranteed salvage. Now, as you end up leveling up and unlocking tons of different items, as you open common drops, you will get duplicate salvage. But again, you're going to be getting mainly common things and maybe a few rare things as well. So you're looking at like 5 to 10 salvage per duplicate, assuming you even get a duplicate. And another thing to consider with this is as they keep adding items, that decreases your chances of getting these duplicate items. With rare drops, you're always guaranteed salvage. It might not always be much, but there's also a good chance that it's going to be a lot of salvage. That part is random as well. So if you're all about just earning as many items as possible, you like getting calling cards, you like getting customization items, and the odd variant here and there, then commons are probably going to be the way to go for you. For me, on the other hand, it's all about salvage. I open supply drops trying to get as much salvage as possible, and if I happen to get lucky and get something really cool out of a supply drop, then that's just a great bonus to me. That's how I treat that, because that part is completely random, and I'm not really too much into gambling, so I don't really get my hopes up too much when I open supply drops. It's more so I just open those drops to try and collect as much salvage as possible so that I can craft the variants that I actually want to get, and I get to pick exactly which variant I want. So this is why in this video I'm going to be focusing on salvage. Which supply drop will award more salvage on average, commons or rares? And keep in mind, I will be factoring in the fact that you get 3 common drops for every rare drop, so I'm not going to be comparing 1 rare drop to 1 common drop. I'm going to be comparing 1 rare drop to 3 common drops as far as salvage goes. So what I did last night is I went through and watched a bunch of raw supply drop opening videos. I made sure I was looking at ones that had a big sample size and not the ones that were obviously just like highlight reels opening supply drops where it's like, oh my god, I got an epic, check this video out. I focused on the videos that were raw supply drop opening videos. Also keep in mind, I made sure that these were relatively current within the past month or 2 because we have had new stuff added, and we also don't know if they've changed up any of the earn rates or anything since launch. So I avoided the supply drop opening videos that were from way back in November and December. And another thing to keep in mind is I was always looking at the players' ranks as well, and if they weren't at least Prestige 1, I wouldn't count that video. And the reasoning behind this is if you aren't Prestige 1 yet, that means you haven't opened tons of drops in the past, and therefore you're a lot less likely to get those duplicates, and it wouldn't really be fair to the common drop people because you get your salvage based on duplicates with common drops. So basically, the higher the level the person is and the more drops they've opened, the more common items they have, and the more likely they are to get duplicate salvage. So with all this in mind, I looked at over 500 supply drop openings for common drops and over 500 drop openings with rare drops. So I feel like that is a pretty decent sample size. I also took it from various sources from various videos. I actually used quite a few different videos for this, so I can't really link every single one in the description, but you guys can go and do this for yourself if you guys wanted to go do the testing and check my numbers. But in total, when I averaged out the salvage earn rate from all the common supply drops, I got an overall average of 13 salvage per supply drop. And this was very consistent as well. For each of these supply drop opening videos I did, I found the average rate for the commons, and then I did the overall average. The overall average was 13, and there weren't too many outliers when I did the individual videos as well. Looking at the individual videos, it ranged from about 10 salvage on average per common drop, all the way up to about 14 salvage on average per common drop. But the overall average was 13 with 500 common supply drops. Now when I looked at rare supply drops, I was actually quite surprised the number was this high. I got an average of 68 salvage per rare supply drop. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, no, that can't be right, because every time I open a rare supply drop, I only get like 12 salvage or something for my bonus salvage. But keep in mind, this was quite a large sample size. This was over 500 drops from various sources, and I got quite a consistent average of 68 salvage per rare drop. Now, even though I was surprised at first, when you step back to think about this, it does make sense. Not every rare supply drop is going to give you 68 salvage or more, but with that salvage bonus, it's random as well, and I've seen up to 250 salvage as a salvage bonus for a rare drop, and oftentimes I also see over 100 salvage for that, so that will definitely bring your averages up. And keep in mind, you're going to be getting duplicates still, and you've got a better chance of getting rare or higher duplicates, meaning you get a little bit more salvage than you would for like a common duplicate when you're opening those common drops. So of course, like I said earlier, we can't really compare one common drop to one rare drop, so it's not really 68 salvage versus 13 salvage. We have to divide our rare salvage by 3 to make it equal out to the common drop. But even when we do that, we get 23 salvage per 10 keys if we're opening rare drops, whereas we only get 13 salvage per 10 keys when we're opening common drops. So it's very clear here that rare drops are the way to go if you want to maximize your salvage. You get almost double the amount of salvage on average by opening rare drops compared to commons. So overall, if you're like me and you just want to maximize your salvage so that you can craft any variant that you want, rare drops are clearly the way to go here. Also, I found it really interesting, we now kind of have a general conversion from keys to salvage, so how much salvage is one key equal to, and as long as you're always opening rare drops, it looks like one key is equal to 2.3 salvage, which isn't quite as bad as I initially thought. It felt like it was coming in slower, but if you think about it, most games that you play, as long as they last like a full 10 minutes or around 10 minutes, you're usually going to get 2 to 3 keys per game. Let's just say right around 2.5 keys. This translates to roughly 5 to 6 salvage per game that you play, keeping in mind that's only if you're opening rare drops consistently. Overall, that's not quite as bad as I expected, but at the same time, it is still a fairly low earn rate. But hopefully that just gives some people some peace of mind. The people that were like hoping that we would get salvage for every game that we play, you essentially are going to be getting 5 to 6 salvage per game that you play. Also, don't forget, we still get the daily login bonuses as well, which definitely add up if you're logging in every single day. I know a lot of people are going to start doing the math on that and be like, holy crap, we have to play 666 games on average just to get one epic weapon. Don't forget that we have those daily bonuses as well, and that actually helps a ton with your total salvage count. So there we have it. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. I really hope this video has shed some light on which one of these drops you want to open. Of course, if you still want to just maximize the number of items that you're getting and you don't mind if they're common items, then common drops are the way to go. But if you're saving up that salvage, I would highly recommend the rares. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.